Hello everybody, welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to show you how to make this book jacket card. In the past I've made book binding cards where there's a section on the left hand side is fastened down. I've done various ones, but this one is a book binding that has the extra piece. It's like a triple fold book binding. I will put the link to this video in the bottom if you want to check back to where it was. But anyway, I thought this was rather fun. And then recently I did two versions of a tower card where there was sort of a square went up in the middle, and this is a combination of both of those because it looks like it could be a book on a bookcase, and this is a hardback book rather than sort of a pamphlet-y sort of look of this one. But it's got the square column. It's a book binding version. It does of course fit flat to go in a regular envelope. We always like those cards. And then it opens up an extra piece inside to have a full area for your message, and it follows sort of the theme of the designer series paper through. So without further delay, let me get started and show you the ingredients I used to make it. There will be sizes on my blog, so you'll be able to check that out a little bit later. So I'm using Petunia Pop, which is one of the 24-26 in colours. And this piece, well, we'll start with the big piece first really. It's 7 1/4 by 5 1/2, and it's scored at 4 1/4. So that makes the body of the piece that fits inside a standard envelope. The next piece is 5 1/2 tall, but it's 6 1/4, and it's scored at 1/2 inch, 1 1/2, 2 1/2, 3 1/2. So we'll just fold all of those lines down. And that, of course, is what makes the square tower block on the side. Whoops. So that is how we make that. And then in order to turn it into a tower, there are 4 pieces, 3 folds, 4 pieces. We need to fold over 2 of them. I'm just going to bring in my silicone mat. So we've got the 1/2 inch and the 1 inch, and I'm going to put glue on the 1/2 inch section. So you could use tear and tape. You know, it just needs to be a strong adhesive, of course, because it's a block and it's a circular piece. Well, you know, it goes round on itself. It's not circular, of course, it's square, but you know what I mean. And it will try to pop open. So I've just put a strong adhesive on the 1/2 inch section. And then what we can do is fold the large side over, and that will hold onto there. So we just need to give it a wee chance to dry and stay put. So I'll press it with the bone folder to give it some encouragement. So there we've now got the square piece, and we need to then attach the block to the card. So the flap coming over will be coming from the right, and on the left there is this open area. And what we want to do is this. Basically, we need to attach this to the left hand side and not interfere with this flap which is coming from the right. So this is the area that we need to glue, and in order to do that I'm going to fold it down so there are 2 of the pieces of the block, and put glue on the left hand side. Oops, that was a bit gushing. So I'll just sort of smush that down a little bit so it doesn't gush out. So that's the glue, that's the stiff, sturdy gluing that we need to do. And then what we need to do is attach this to the card. So I will turn it over. So I'm going to hold these 2 pieces down, the glued side and one of the other areas of the box, and just attach it to that area. So I'm going to put it down, make sure it's even down the side and at the top and the bottom, so we can see it's all nice and even. We just need to give it a small chance to set the glue. And then you will be able to see it in action. So now we've got the tower column on this side and the flippy flap on the other side, which does want to keep opening for some reason. So I will persuade it to do otherwise with the bone folder. So that's the body of the fold. Now we just need to do the fun part, of course, which is the decorating. So I've got some designer series paper, and this is floral impressions. So let me just make sure I get them right because they're very similar. So the front is 3 by 5 1/4. Inside is 5 1/4 by 2 3/4. These are actually two separate pieces of the papers, two different sheets, but they so coordinate with each other. And then just for the spine, there is a little bit that's 7/8 by 5 1/2. They're all 5 1/2 inches tall. And then for the inside, because Petunia Pop is a little bit dark, it's the same as, this is the inside flap and this is the inside of the inside flap. So your basic white also needs to be 2 3/4 by 5 1/2. So let's get started putting these into place. So I will go ahead and put the basic white on the very inside. So that's the signature panel really. And then on the other side, we will put this lovely piece. And I cut mine so that the Petunia Pop flowers are more visible and the bluer ones are more to the inside. You can put however you want, and of course it doesn't even matter if you, whatever designer series paper you're using, you can choose the design that you want. So this is going to be the outer edge. So I'm lining up my pinker flowers to that edge. So now we've got the inside done, the signing inside. We've got the inside piece done. Now we just need to do the front and the spine. So you will see the spine is just the opposite side of this one. So we'll pop the front on so it's nice and even. And actually, small confession, when I was building my original sample, because I'd stuck all these pieces down and the adhesive had gone to the opposite side, especially this one, I took this and quite cheerfully put the adhesive on the green, and I was like, ooh, darn, darny darn darn, all words to that effect, similar words. So if you're using the same designer series paper, don't forget which side you're using and make sure you're putting the adhesive on the correct side. That was just my warning. That's got a little edge on there. So now I'm going to put the spine on. And there is the card all built and decorated. So we are coming along nicely. And then what we need to do is put some form of decoration on the front. Now, as you may know, I am a big paper pumpkin fan. I get my kit enthusiastically every month and then do some alternatives. And every quarter, Stampin' Up! Bring out a set of dies. So this is Thanks and Beyond dies. This came out at the beginning of the year. So it has this lovely shape, which I'm using. And then the butterfly, when you put them together, the wings become separate from the body. So that's what I'm using. And then actually even the greeting is from December 2023 because I just had this one out to do the July 2025 paper pumpkin alternative ideas. And I thought, ooh, this is a great thing to send to a friend. So I'm using Night of Navy ink spot, which matches the Night of Navy in the designer series paper. And then I'm going to put the butterfly on, but I'm only going to use adhesive on the body, not on the lacy wing area. So I'm just going to put put a little bit in the middle, as long as you're only going around the outsides and not in the middle. I didn't go all the way around because it's actually going to sit off this piece and go on dimensionals, and I didn't want there to be any adhesive sticking out, so then it could risk still being tacky and closing down onto the front of the card when it's in the envelope. Last thing I did, I don't know whether you can see it, was I put Wink of Stella on the wings just to give it a little. Wink of Stella is always the hardest thing to show in a video. It just sort of glistens. It's there, believe me. Honest governor, every piece of cardstock's got two sides, so here was obviously a piece of basic white I had used before for something else, but because the front of it is the only part we're going to see, I can reuse and recycle. So 3 dimensionals on the back, and that is just going to pop on the front of the card. Just lift the wings out a little bit, pop the silicone mat away, and there you have it. 2, well look, you can see now how this is how they would look. I mean, I can't imagine you'd send multiple cards to the same person and they would stack them on their shelves. You could even put a greeting. If this had been happy birthday, for example, you could stamp down there with a long card that says happy birthday, so it would even follow on with the theme of the book jacket. So there are the cards, my lovelies. There will be directions and dimensions on my blog. If you like what you've seen, please consider subscribing and ring the bell so you get notifications when I post my next video. It's typically a Technique Tuesday, so you can guess what day of the week it comes out, but nevertheless, it's still nice to have. If you've got a question or a comment, pop those in the box below and I will always reply to you. And in the meantime, thanks for watching.